You know, when we look up at the night sky and see that little red dot, we see our future, Mars. It's our next great frontier. But what if I told you that quiet, dusty world holds a secret? A force so powerful it took down one of our toughest explorers, and a danger that, right now, NASA has no answer for. Look, we've become incredibly clever at this whole space thing. Need air to breathe on a planet where there is none? We've got a machine for that. Thirsty? We know how to drill for ice. Need a place to live that protects you from freezing temperatures and cosmic radiation? We've got blueprints for that. Seriously, we've thought through the biggest, deadliest challenges of living on another planet. But what if the real killer isn't something you can build a wall against? What's the one piece of the puzzle we're still missing? To really wrap our heads around this threat, we first have to understand why we're so obsessed with going to Mars anyway. So, what's the big rush? Well, the hard truth is, humanity kinda needs a plan B. Earth is our home and we love it, but it's facing some serious challenges. And scientists agree that having a second home is just smart. Think about it. We're burning through natural resources, our glaciers are melting, and fresh water is becoming scarce. And that's before you even get to the big scary stuff. Another global pandemic, a nuclear war, or, a giant asteroid hit. Don't forget, that's what wiped out the dinosaurs. So for humanity to have a real shot at a long-term future, we need another basket for our eggs. And Mars, it turns out, is our #1 draft pick. It's actually shockingly similar to Earth in some really key ways. A day on Mars is about 24 and a half hours long, almost the same as ours. It has seasons, just like we do. They just last a lot longer. And the landscape? It's got polar ice caps, huge valleys, and volcanoes. In fact, Mars is home to Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the entire solar system. And the most exciting part, we see evidence everywhere that rivers and lakes used to cover its surface. Okay, so Mars is the spot, but let's be real, it's still an incredibly dangerous place. Good thing we humans are a pretty resourceful bunch. Let's take a look at the survival kit we've already packed for our trip to this new world. We have seriously engineered our way around the biggest threats on Mars. The atmosphere has almost no oxygen? No problem. NASA's MOXIE experiment can literally pull oxygen right out of the Martian air. It's freezing cold, we'll live in inflatable habitats or even underground bases. Deadly solar radiation? We can build bunkers out of Martian dirt or just find a nice cave. No water? We'll drill down to the ice and melt it. And no food? We've already got sealed greenhouses working. It sounds like we've got it all figured out, right? Well, not quite. There's this one thing on Mars, a phenomenon that we can't just build a machine to fix, a danger we can't hide from in a bunker. We need to talk about the storms. And it all starts with this one simple number, 1%. The atmosphere on Mars is only 1% as dense as Earth's. It's unbelievably thin. And that one little fact kicks off a chain reaction that creates a kind of weather we just don't have here at home. Okay, so here's how a Martian superstorm is born. First, that super thin atmosphere means the sun bakes the ground really fast. This creates a wild temperature difference. Get this. The ground at your feet could be a comfy 75 degrees Fahrenheit, but the air around your head would be freezing. This massive temperature gap creates powerful winds. But on Mars, these winds don't kick up rain. They kick up dust, superfine red dust. And because of the low gravity, that dust doesn't just fall back down. It just hangs there for weeks, sometimes even for months. Now, you're probably thinking of astronauts getting blown across the planet like in the movies, but that's not the actual danger. Since the air is so thin, even a 100-mile-per-hour wind on Mars would feel more like a gentle breeze. No, the threat isn't the wind. The threat is the dust. These storms can grow so huge they cover the entire planet in a thick, dark blanket, blocking out almost all of the sunlight. And that is the real problem. Because every single one of our brilliant survival plans, our air, our water, our heat, they all run on solar power. And this isn't just a theory. We learned this lesson the hard way, from the tragic story of one of our most beloved explorers. This is the cautionary tale of the Opportunity Rover. Opportunity landed on Mars back in 2004. Its mission was supposed to last just 90 days. But this little rover was a champion. It just kept going, exploring the red planet for 15 incredible years. But then, in June of 2018, it ran into something it just couldn't outlast, a global dust storm. As the storm grew, the sky went dark. The thick clouds of dust literally blotted out the sun. The sunlight reaching Opportunity's solar panels plunged from 100% down to just 4%. It was starving in the dark, totally unable to recharge its batteries. NASA tried to call it for months, but all they heard back was silence. It took them a year to piece together its last fragmented transmission, and what it said was absolutely haunting. It was like a final whispered farewell. My battery is low, and it's getting dark. And after that, Opportunity was gone forever. Opportunity's fate is more than just a sad story. It's a massive warning sign. It tells us that the biggest threat to our future on Mars might not be the cold or the lack of air or the radiation. It might just be the darkness. So let's put it all together. These storms can cover the whole planet. They can go on for months, and crucially, they cut off the sunlight we need for solar power. And without that power, everything else fails. The oxygen machines, the water pumps, the heaters, they all go dark. So what do we do? I mean, sure, engineers are kicking around ideas like massive batteries or even small nuclear reactors. But getting those to Mars safely and reliably, that's a whole other gigantic challenge. And that leaves us right here, staring at this huge, unanswered question. Everything we've designed, everything we've tested, every single one of our solutions for living on Mars depends on the sun. So as we dream about building a new home out there among the stars, how do we ever conquer the red planet if we still haven't figured out how to survive its darkness?